So I'm training for this nighttime trail race, and last week I planned to do my last long run. I was going to do it on the trail, and when you know it, 2 days before my run, I get this cold-like virus. It's not too bad, but it's enough to stop my training, enough to stop my running. In fact, this is day 10. I'm still not ready to get back running again, probably another few more days. So what does this time off do to my body? What does it do to my training? What would it do to you if you take time off? Well, it's not as bad as you might think. Hi, I'm Ralph, and this is the Ageless Runner. I enjoy all things running, and if you do too, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you for being here today. So I came across a very interesting study. It was an 18-week study where they looked at 12 individuals who were not athletes. They had them do hard cycling for 30 minutes, 3 days a week. And they checked their VO2 max and anaerobic threshold throughout those 9 weeks. Now, anaerobic threshold is the inflection point where our body starts producing a lot of lactate. I'm going to focus mostly on VO2 max in this discussion because it's just something I understand a little better. The conclusions that I'm going to come to are the same whether we talk VO2 max or anaerobic threshold, but I'm going to stick with VO2 max. So in the 9 weeks, as you might expect, they saw a decent increase in their VO2 max, went up 40%, and went from 45.7, and units are milliliters per minute per kilogram of body weight, up to 64.2, 40% increase. That's pretty good. That's a great increase for the hard work they put in. But we're not so much interested in that as we are what's the change after they stopped training. So no more training, and again, they checked every 3 weeks. So week 12, which is 3 weeks with no training, they had roughly an 8% drop in VO2 max. That's not too bad if you ask me. 3 weeks only drops 8%. That's not bad at all. But the more interesting part is what happens after that. So let's go another 3 weeks. That takes us out to 15 weeks. They only saw an additional 3% drop in VO2 max. So again, less drop in those 3 weeks than the previous 3 weeks. So let's advance another 3 weeks to the end of the test, week 18. So now we're 9 weeks after we stopped training. We only saw an additional decrease in VO2 max of less than 0.5%. So at the end of 18 weeks, they still kept over 6% of their VO2 max increase. So the message in the study is even though we see a very slight, maybe modest reduction in VO2 max as we go on and continue on with not training, our VO2 max, the rate at which it declines, decreases. In other words, it becomes kind of flat, kind of bottoms out. So we don't keep seeing big drops in VO2 max as time goes on. A little bit in the beginning and then just gradual decreases as we go forward. Now, if you're like me, like to see a picture, I'm showing you a graph of these results where the horizontal axis is weeks. You can see weeks 0 through 18. The vertical axis is the VO2 max. You can see the baseline in the beginning. At 9 weeks there in the center is the max. And you see the decline going from week 9 to week 18 is not that big. They did not lose a lot of their VO2 max conditioning after taking 9 weeks off. And that's a good message. I thought it would have been interesting to do this if they had checked VO2 max at, say, at 1 week or 2 weeks just to see what that is. Now, generally, it's considered if you take a break of, say, no more than 5 days, that's practically no change in your body. Just pick up where you left off. And so if you go 3 weeks, you're going to have a little bit of a change in VO2 max, but nothing significant. But what happens once you get beyond 3 weeks, when you get to a month? There's other things that start happening with our body other than VO2 max or anaerobic threshold. For example, if we're not working our heart muscle begins to decrease. We lose some volume in our blood. So the stroke volume in our heart, the amount of blood we pump in each pump, becomes less. We reduce capillaries. When we exercise a lot and work our muscles, our body increases capillaries in our muscles to feed them oxygen. Or if we're not using them, that kind of decreases. Over time, our body becomes less efficient in burning glycogen. It becomes less efficient in burning fat. So there are other changes in our body that go on. Now, generally, once you get out where you've been not running for, say, 3 to 6 months, you kind of reach a new baseline of fitness. However, the good news is that if you've been running for a while, so you've been running for a couple of years, your new baseline of fitness is going to be higher than what it was before you started running. So you don't really lose all that fitness improvement you got running for a couple of years. And the other point of good news is throughout this time off, coming back to your previous condition is going to be less effort than if you were starting from scratch. So if I take a couple of weeks off, it's not going to take me a lot of effort to get it back to where I was. Now the kicker here, of course, is I'm sick. How does an illness impact all this? I have no idea. Now my illness is pretty mild, so I think I'm just going to be dealing with maybe a slight reduction in VO2 max, and hopefully when I start running again, I'll come back up to form pretty quickly. So for me, what does this mean for my race? And my race, as I record this, is 10 days away. My last long run I was going to do would have been 16 days before the race, which would have been plenty of time to recover from it. Well, I'm not going to be able to do another long run in the next 10 days. That would be foolish since I'm not quite over this cold. So I'd already decided before I got sick to drop down from the half to the 10K for a couple of reasons. One is my training just wasn't as far along as I'd like. And two is I have some family commitments the following 2 days later. The race is on a Saturday night. On Monday, I got to do some things with the family. I need to be in good shape. I need to be well rested. So I already decided to drop to a 10K. I think that'll be fun. Go out there and run through the forest at night and just do 6 miles, and that'll be great. I'll get that experience. So the message of this video is, even if you take a break, and you do want to take a break from time to time, it's this rest, it's this break time that is really important as far as our training. It allows our body to heal, allows our muscles to repair. So it is important to take some breaks now and then. But you have to keep in mind that even at 3 weeks, if you take a 3-week break, you're not going to be losing markedly a lot of fitness. If you go out to 6 months, yeah, you're going to lose more and maybe take more effort to come back to your old level. But if you're only going to be off 2 or 3 weeks, it's not going to be a big drag on your body. You should be able to come back to your previous running form pretty quickly. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please scroll down and hit that like icon. Those likes really help my channel. If you're new here, boy, I'd love to have you stick around. Please hit the subscribe button also. And don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you so much and happy running.